According to what I heard this gentleman say on a video today, most people only have about $45,000 saved for retirement. Now, this gentleman said that he had done some research because he retired unexpectedly because he was in business and then the pandemic came and he got out of business and the rest is history. And so he was talking about how he didn't have a lot saved for retirement, but he was managing. So that's what I want to talk about today is how some of these ideas about the way retirement should be have been instilled into us from little up. Welcome back to Rebel Retirement, where we talk about all things retirement and how you can determine what you value through a just-in-time retirement mindset. Okay, stick with me, you guys, because I want to tell you my early Facebook journey and how a board game reminded me of what's important and how that applies to retirement. So I joined Facebook in 2007, I think it was. And besides luring my friends and asking them to be my friends, I pestered my relatives. And I also went to my grown kids' high school friends to ask if they would be my friend on Facebook. And then we could start snooping on one another. And I know people don't like that term snooping on Facebook, but ultimately, especially in the early days, I think that is in essence what everybody was doing was, going on there and seeing what everybody else was doing on Facebook. So it was a whole lot of fun. And for the first 2 weeks, I was really, really hooked on Facebook. It was something totally new. And I was really having a good time, reconnecting with people and talking to cousins and friends that I hadn't spoken to in a long time. So I was really hooked at this point. And if you remember in the old days of Facebook, they had the status bar and you would have your name. In my case, it would be Marlene is, and then you would fill in the blank for something. And sometimes people would put, that they were going someplace or what they were cooking and just different things like that. Well, one day I put Marlene is hooked on Facebook. And a friend commented back that playing on the site can be as addictive as crack. And I know that this girl didn't do crack, but I got the point. And I think she might have been right. It was very, very addictive in those early days to play on Facebook. I have since really gotten to a point where I really don't like going on Facebook anymore, except for business. And, every once in a while I do go on, and I will say that it is snooping to see what my relatives are doing in particular. And yeah, that's the extent of my Facebook these days. But I digress. I was having so much fun one Saturday afternoon on Facebook, reconnecting with old friends, and I was ignoring my daughter's request to play a board game. Finally, I got my priorities straight, and I decided and started to think that, well, I don't want to go down in history with the kids saying that mom never plays games with us. So check out my video on leaving a legacy. And it's not all about leaving a financial legacy. And so anyway, back to the story. Just because I'm not a big fan of board games doesn't mean that I don't play board games and that I never played them. So I closed my laptop and I told my girls to set up the game on the kitchen table. So the girls set up the Milton Bradley game of life. And I don't know if you guys have played the game of life or if you remember how that was played, but after you have this selection of occupations and you receive a game piece, so like a little plastic car that moves around the board, you drive around the board and then you start the play. So we traveled through life and we collected paychecks, we made loans, we had kids, and we got sick. And depending on the spin of the wheel and the decisions that we made along the way, you could either spend your retirement in millionaire estates or countryside acres. And some of this seemed like happenstance, and others of it was, being the consequence of the choices that were made. So as I sat there playing, I started thinking about my husband David's opinion of the game. I started thinking about what message was the game sending to my daughters. My husband tries to follow a path with the heart, not the path where you live up to the Joneses. And I started thinking about these different games that, particularly games like Life, even Monopoly. And at the time, they had an online game for kids called Webkins that my girls really enjoyed. As I was playing this game, I started thinking about how this game was conditioning all of us to place too much value on money and what it should look like by the time we get to retirement. And if you didn't have the kind of retirement that was in millionaire acres, you were considered a loser. So this game was encouraging life in the rat race, irresponsible borrowing, and spendthrift behavior. It was all about getting a job, being a consumer, living up to the Joneses, and hoping to live to retirement was the common theme. The message was that it was about where you live, what you wear, how much you make, and all of that is what was important. That's what gave life meaning. And here's the problem. A lot of people carry the same message into real life. They'll work themselves into the ground, thinking if they just keep spinning the wheel long enough, one day they'll land in millionaire estates. I know some young men who think it's more important and more noble to work 7 days a week while life is passing them by and their children are growing up. And if you have kids, we all know how fast that goes. Here's the thing. You don't have to wait for the perfect spin of the wheel to start living now. You don't have to wait for the perfect time to start living and having your retirement. Think of retirement as just another step in your journey of life. It's just another part of that journey. And so just-in-time retirement is about making intentional choices now so you can enjoy your life now, because time is valuable. Time is probably our most valuable asset along with health. And our time here will be over before we know it. So in real life, you can design your own version of millionaire estates, even if it's not about millions. Because the truth of the matter is all of these people that think they're going to have millions are going to be playing that game of life. And by the time they get to retirement, it doesn't mean that they're going to be in millionaire estates. Maybe they'll be someplace else. So it's not up to me to tell you what gives life meaning. We're all on our own journey. But what gives life meaning at one stage of life may not give life meaning at another stage of life. And I think that's the message I want to get across today. Things change over time. And when you're a young person, when you get to be this age, you've lived a whole life and there's been a lot of changes. And again, I do think it's important to be in with the flow of life. And so what's valuable to me may not be valuable to you. If any of this has resonated with you, please drop a comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for more outside the box retirement ideas. Until next time, stay curious, stay healthy, and trust your retirement journey. I'm Marlene with Rebel Retirement. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hey, you guys, please take a look around my channel. I have hundreds of videos on topics including Social Security, Medicare, how to get out of debt, pros and cons of moving, relationship issues, health topics, and more. And all of these videos are based on my experience and what I have learned in retirement. And I know that many people are worried about money in retirement, and this is exactly why Rebel Retiree and I created our just-in-time retirement series. And it's absolutely free, you guys, so it doesn't hurt to take a look at it. It's a mindset-based retirement planning strategy that eliminates waste and aligns your finances with your goals and values. With continuous improvement, you free up your resources to create an abundant retirement lifestyle. So I recommend viewing the playlist on this channel. And to get the full picture, visit our website, rebelretirement.com. And if you are nearing retirement and worried about your financial future, you're going to get a whole different viewpoint. See for yourself at rebelretirement.com.